Hello, everyone, and good evening. We're live here from Talladega Super Speedway in Lincoln, Alabama, home of what typically is the largest oval racetrack on stock car racing schedule. It is quote unquote only the second largest, the second largest in our AWSCO schedule here, but for round number 35 of 40 of the inaugural AWSCO season in both Continental and Cup. We're here in the middle of the second round of the playoffs as the AWSCO Continental Series takes on this 2.66 mile speedway for the YellaWood 113 laps around this magnificently large super speedway race. We've already had two super speedway races this season in the AWSCO series schedule. Of course, driven at Daytona, one of the world centers of racing, and Pensacola, another racetrack in Florida. We're off. This time we're in Alabama, of course, for what is typically a fan favorite event, a Talladega race in the fall. A stock car race at Talladega in the fall, late in the season. Tensions are high. There's championship spots on the line, of course. We're in the middle of a hectic second round in both series, but with the standings in the Continental Series right now are extremely close. Nobody has locked themselves in to the third round of the playoffs just yet, and with that, all spots are on the line here. Just 42 points separate the entire playoff field as the Continental Series drivers get set to take on our third of four drafting races this season. I'm Rasha. Welcome to the FanDuel Fan Studio here for the pre-race show. I'm joined with Liam, who's been a regular guest here on the studio with me here for a few times already this season. I'll hand it over to you now. What do you think of this race and the racetrack that we're going to here? Obviously, we've done two restrictor plate super speedways already. We have one more drafting track on the schedule in the next round. But in terms of the large 2+ mile super speedways, this is it right here. This is the culmination of all that racing, and I think many people would say that Talladega is the best of them all with the kind of racing that we see. This race is likely to be one hectic show, I think, especially with all the playoff spots on the line right now.
100%. I mean, yeah, you talk about super speedway racing, there's two tracks you think of, and that's Talladega and Daytona. Talladega is the chaotic one. Daytona is the one that you start the season off with. It's usually meant to be pretty tame. Obviously, that's not what happened at the beginning of the AWSCO season in either series. But Talladega, that's the big one. I mean, it's much wider, it's larger, it's got the same relative shape, and obviously the start-finish line is at the end of the front straightaway, so you get a lot more time to come back around and make that final move off of turn 4. So when it comes to super speedway racing, this is the big one. And that's not just playing off of the name of the big wreck that happens here every year. That is what this track is. Pensacola might have been our biggest super speedway, but this is our most important super speedway for not only playoff positions, points, and getting to compete for a championship, but also just in terms of how the culture around this racetrack is built.
Yeah, I think Talladega is very much the cultural center of super speedway racing, I would say. Whereas Daytona has the prestige and Pensacola now has the size. I think in a lot of ways the soul of super speedway racing and kind of the spectacle of it is definitely most enshrined in this racetrack, which we'll take a look at right now. You mentioned the position of the start-finish line past the end of the tri-oval. Of course, we're looking at a four-turn, 2.66 mile tri-oval super speedway. Here's 33-degree banked corners, 2 degrees banked in the straights, and crucially, of course, 16.5%, 0.5 degrees banked tri-oval, kind of creating that last last run towards the start finish line that we've seen so many times in NASCAR. Just how many times that last run to the start finish line can decide the finish of a race. How many times we've seen? I mean, just how many times have we seen? The drivers going side by side across the finish line with barely a wheel arch separating them at the start finish line at the end of a race, and we'll definitely see if that's something we'll end up seeing here in the AWSCO Continental race. But the design of the track, and especially the width of it, especially its width, definitely allows for those kind of finishes to happen. There's so much room to move around here. 3 wide is pretty much the norm most of the way, I'd say. Whereas 3 wide racing in Daytona is considered fairly aggressive here, I think it's fairly normal. Maybe even looking at some 4 wide in bits and bobs of the race here, maybe a bit later on. But with the width of the racetrack this track being so wide, there's so much room to move around, and that's kind of the wild card, I think, compared to the other 2 super speedways that we run here in AWSCO.
100%. And I mean, I mentioned points earlier when I was talking about the importance of this race specifically. Points are going to be important, but and everybody knows that when you go super speedway racing, points racing doesn't really matter. It's get to the finish line first and get to the finish line in one piece. That's going to be the goal to today's race. Whether you're starting at the backs.
Liam is still there?
Yeah,
oh,
I'm still here.
Yeah, sorry, you just cut off there for a second on my end. But yeah, you mentioned obviously survival, getting to the finish line first, and getting there in one piece definitely is going to be the impetus for most of these drivers. They saw what happened in Daytona, and obviously how that obviously shaped the way the race panned out in that. Pensacola was a bit of a different story as well. Most cars I think made it to the end of that race, or at least made it to the halfway point. So most cars managed to get through most of the race there. But I think survival is going to be very important. And with 15 drivers all kind of vying for that in the playoffs here, the battle for the impetus for survival that's going to be the most important thing for these drivers. So make it at least 2/3 of the race, kind of be there at the very least to try and get to the point where being aggressive is actually starts to matter, basically. Because for a lot of this race, we're just going to be moving cars around, basically. We're going to be moving cars around until I'd say we get to about 25 to go or so. Then the real race begins, I would think.
Absolutely. Do you want to start going through maybe some of the drivers to look at for this race?
Yeah, First off, let's take a look at the point standings heading into this race. You have a 2-way tie at the top of the playoffs here. Izzy Oberman and Cassidy Jones, number 93 and 4 respectively, are 22 points ahead of the cut line. And it's 7 points between those two and Deborah Williams in the 55. That's she's 15 points up, but from then on, obviously 15 points down. Take another 7 points off of that. That'll take you to Laura Sundale in the 40. That's kind of the middle. And then after that, it's kind of the rest of the cars in the playoffs here. Davenport +7, Ramos +4, Bogdan +3. And even on the other end, below the cut line, everyone's still pretty close. Ableton Perez only 3 back. And then you have Gray, Schultz, Starchev, and Martel, who all had problems in the first race of the round at Oregon. All of those drivers finished, I believe, below 30th and find themselves below the cut line here. But once again, Talladega, the great equalizer of the playoffs. This round is all positions are up for grabs here. And looking at our starting lineup, it's LaTonya Gray on pole. However much that means, that one extra point for the 65 driver, the 65 is going to be is going to be worth something. If she can lead a lap, that would be an extra an extra point on top of that, putting her from 13 back to 11 back if she can do that. But obviously, there's a lot that can change in in a race here at Talladega. We'll see how many of these cars, you know, how do I say this? As much as points don't matter, there's that one aspect of the points format where being good in the race does matter, and it's the laps. It's the bonus point for laps for leading a lap, and the bonus points for leading the most laps. Obviously, Latanya Gray already has the point for pole, but everyone else can still get that bonus point. That's up for grabs in this race, and obviously with the way the racing goes at Talladega, we would assume that a majority of these playoff drivers are going to get that extra point. So that's another thing I think that's gonna play on these drivers' minds a little bit. Just kind of seeing if any one of these drivers might try to go for that most laps led bonus, because it definitely seems like every point's gonna count here in this second round. I think we may have lost the we may have lost the microphone to our studio co-host again. So I think I think we're actually ready to hand it over to the booth now. As we look at the rest of the field, let's take a look at the rest of the field. Actually, looking at where the playoff drivers are starting. Gray obviously on pole, but only one other driver starting in the top 10. Deborah Williams in the 55 starting 9th in the inside of row 5. Two drivers just outside the top 10, Ableton Perez and Edelstein. Ableton Perez, of course, first car out of the playoffs right now. And everyone else is pretty much just equally distributed to the rest of the field. Sarchiev starting 13th, Ramos starting 20th, Martel 21st, Von Lundquist 22nd, Robin Rolison the 26th, 24th, Vinny Schultz 28th, Lynn Oswell 32nd, then Naomi Davenport 33rd, Sundale 34th, Oberman 35th, that's your points leader, and Cassidy Jones as well, actually, in 36th place. So the two cars that enter this race at the top of the point standings are the last two in the playoff, starting near the very back of the field, the last two of the playoff drivers to start there. That'll be interesting to see how those drivers manage the traffic at the start of the race, at the very least. And with that, we'll send things over to the booth now. It'll be Echo and Anthony taking the reins of commentary for this race. I've been Rasha, and on behalf of Liam, who is still trying to get his microphone set up correctly here. We'll see you guys in the mid-race show later on, and enjoy the race.
And welcome here to the Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama, for the 35th race of the season, the second race here in the second round of the playoffs. It's the YellaWood 300 from the High Banks here in Talladega. I'm joined here by Anthony tonight. And Anthony, this is a track that has a reputation, and I think for good reason. What do you expect tonight from this race?
Oh boy, this track is quite infamous. It's Talladega. What else is there to say? You got 3 wide racing, maybe 4 wide racing, all throughout the pack for most of the race. But sometimes a driver will make a mistake, and it will cause the infamous big one that could take out multiple drivers, multiple playoff drivers at that as well, since this is a playoff race after all. But sometimes you get the calm of Talladega. You get everybody somehow makes peace with each other. And sometimes you get long green flag stints where drivers will have to communicate with each other if they want to make green flag pit stops. And that's the interesting part of Talladega. Sometimes it gives you wreckfest, sometimes it doesn't.
Absolutely. The duality of this track is something that is worth being studied. Let's go through our starting grid here. here in Talladega. Row 1, it's Latanya Gray starting on the pole. She's got that bonus point. She's alongside Takamoto Aya in the 11. Row 2 is the 88. Brenda Davis making her first start in that 88 car. She's alongside Isabella Fitzmaurice. Row 3 is the 35, Krista Anderson, and the 15 of Isabella Smith. Row 4 is the 78, Lexi Rockwood, and the 46 of Bridget Brousseau, who won last week at Oregon Speedway. Row 5 is the 55, Deborah Williams, and the 81 of Alice Hageman. Row 6 is the 25, Kathy Ableton Perez, and the 14, Katrin Edelstein. A couple playoff drivers there. Row 7 is the 66 of Ani Starchev, and the 84 of Tammy Bird. Row 18, the 0 of Hieta Yoko, and the 54, Michaela Kirkland. Row 19, the 64 of Mayumi Moriyama, alongside the 7, Faye Zanda, in her second week of making up in that 7 car. Row 10 is the 5 of Maya Shelby, and the 2 of Rachel Ramos. Row 11, the 51, Sandy Martel, and the 42, Freya van Lundqvist, who won back at Daytona. Row 12, Petra Ilatovsky in the 31 car, alongside the 26 of Robin Morales. Row 13 is the 59 of Abby Buchanan and the 77 of Rose Lockport. Row 14 is the 10 of Charlie McCarran and the 62 of Vinnie Schultz. Row 15, the 12 of Jackie Kennedy and the 45 Liz Roberts. Row 16, the 60 of Amory Wesco and the 96 Lynn Oswell. Row 17, the 22 Naomi Davenport and the 40 of Laura Sundale. Row 18, the 93 of Izzy Overman and the 4 of Cassidy Jones, who came close last week at Oregon, just lost out at the end on the last lap. And row 19 is the 6 of Mila Chestina and the 95 of Carl Reynolds. That being said, what do you expect from the playoff drivers that, are on that cut line? What do you expect from the playoff drivers who maybe aren't really on that cut line and just want to try and get the win? And what do you expect from the non-playoff drivers here as well?
I expect the drivers on the cut line, they'll probably try to stay in the back of the pack. I bet most of the playoff drivers will actually try to stay at the back, to be honest, because at the back you can expect and see a wreck when it's coming. You really don't want to be in that mid-pack when the big one happens, as that will wipe out half the field. But if you're at the back of the pack, you can slow down enough to avoid the wreck, or you'd rather be at the front because you can stay in front of the wreck when it happens. And of course, all these drivers who didn't make the playoffs, they'll want to win this race, of course, because, they like winning, so they'll make some stupid moves here and there, maybe, we'll see. But I'm sure it will be a competitive race, that's for sure.
It absolutely will be very competitive. This is already a very competitive field. 38 cars that are all just looking to get that race victory. And for some of them, it will benefit more than others. It could be that stepping stone to a championship, or this could be the race that puts a dagger in those hopes for some of these drivers. Because remember, there's 5 drivers that get knocked out at the end of this second round as well. We whittled the playoff field down to 10 after Martinsville next week. Command has been given. Latanya Gray and Takamoto Aya will lead them to the green flag here as the pace car gets rolling. That being said, what do you think the keys are going to be to this race if you're one of those playoff drivers or if you're just hunting for the win?
Yeah, the keys to this race are going to be stay out of trouble, stay out of the big one, try your best to stay out front or stay behind at the back of the pack, and also when green flag pit stops happen, have someone to help you. You don't want to go down pit road by yourself or you're going to lose the draft immediately. Those are going to be the keys to this race if you want to win it.
Absolutely. Pit stops are going to be the hairiest time of this race to figure out. Pace car's off. The green flag is out. And we are racing at Talladega. 65 didn't really go on the start. Aya's going to jump down in front of her. And the 11 car is going to get the lead as they're already doing weird things back here. That's a big crash already, and we haven't even gotten to turn 1 yet. What on earth happened? Cassidy Jones is involved. Naomi Davenport. Caution is out immediately. Race back to the line, but we are under yellow very early. It's 1 lap into the race. Well, we'll take a look as to what happened as they're the 66 trying to merge into the pack, and that just bottled up a bunch of cars here too.
What a messy start to this one.
Yeah, that is not what we expected at all. Looks like we're going to have a bit of split pit strategy. So I feel like it's already worth mentioning that the minimum speed time is going to be about 52 seconds. That's where if you're running faster than that, that's the target speeds. So you wouldn't be parked for being that slow. Shelby, Cheshina, and Buchanan all done for the day. I imagine the 4 and the 22 are going to be probably done, if not now, fairly soon. Yeah, 22's out.
Not ideal.
No, not ideal whatsoever. It looks like Robin Morales is also retired. So that's 3 playoff drivers already. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. What on earth that was. They go 4 wide here, and the 51 was just pinching the 5 down, and it just spun her across the track. That is a bit... I don't know. That's not smart to be doing at the beginning of the race.
No, not at all. You don't want to go 4 wide this early.
I don't think they meant to be honest. I think the 51 was trying to get out of it, but I don't think she realized the 5 was underneath her. And it just sent the 5 car down on the apron when she wasn't expecting it. Well, we'll see how everybody is running here. But it looks like we have a few cars out of the race very early on here. Robin Morales, Cassidy Jones, Naomi Davenport all out of the race, and that's going to be very, very crucial because those were all 3 of those cars came into this race above the cut line, but some of them didn't come in as well as others. Jones, while she was plus 22, Morales was plus 10, and Davenport is +7 coming into this race. So already trouble involving those cars. Means that we have a bit of an interesting playoff picture. And a lot of that is something that really they couldn't have controlled at all. So we're still under caution. We're going to be going for at least another... We're going to be under yellow for at least another lap here, too. I think I'm going to take my time to mention that, you know, the 5 drivers that came in underneath the cut line, Sandy Martel, one of those drivers, she was involved in that incident. Ani Starchev involved in a separate incident under the caution flag. She's behind Martel at the moment. Kathy Ableton Perez in the 25 car, she came in just 3 points back of the cut line. And the other 2 that are behind the cut line at this point, Latanya Gray and Vinnie Schultz. Now, this is the kind of track that Vinnie Schultz excels on. She finished 4th at Daytona. She finished 2nd at Pensacola. But there's a car that is not looking like they have the kind of power to keep up with right in front of that 62. So the way the pack splits will go here, the way the pack will split up, especially on this restart, is going to be very crucial for a lot of these cars as well. Well, I believe the top 8 cars stayed out under this caution. Very few cars came down pit road. Some took tires, some took nothing, some did literally nothing, so.
They just felt like saying hi to their crew.
I mean, might as well. I think some of them wanted to just drop to the back a little bit and just try to, you know, play this one out a little bit safe. At least for the moment.
Yeah, I think that's the best strategy right now.
I mean, you can't really drop to the back, though, if everyone drops to the back.
Fair enough.
Pace car's off. We're about to go back green here on lap number 5. Well, lap number 6 from Talladega. Yellow flag came out in turn number 1 of the first lap of the race. Green flag. We're back to racing.
What a jump by the 35.
She got a pretty good jump. A few of these cars might have a little bit of damage, so we're going to see how many of them are able to form up into the lead draft and how many of them get shuffled out or just don't have pace. 35 leads the first lap under green. Here comes the 7 car of Faye Zanda, though. You're gonna see what's gonna happen all day here, at least in the early stints. The top and bottom lanes will get formed up pretty well. That middle lane just won't really form up that much. The way they've managed to mess around with this track, these cars like to form up at the very top and the very bottom. They don't like creating a middle lane. You know, it looks like a bit of this group back here is kind of just straggling back a little bit. I don't think they're going to be able to hook onto the draft. Still, we do have a decent-sized pack here, about 19 cars up towards the front here. Look like they're keeping up with the leader right now. See that this group is mostly kind of single-filed a little bit, so they could catch back up. But Faye Zanda in the 7 car has taken the race lead. She's making up. She's in this car for Reina Munoz, out with severe injuries after her accident at Oswego a couple weeks ago.
Ableton Perez already up to 3rd.
Yeah, she's getting up here. Not only looking to get to the front, but looking to maybe lead some laps too. Get that bonus point.
Every point matters.
Yeah. See, they're kind of shuffling the 84 out of the pack. There's kind of a decent middle lane starting to form a little bit, but I think that might go away in a bit here. 42's not really picking a lane here either way.
Ooh, 84 slid up to the high side.
Yeah, she said, I don't want to be part of the middle lane anymore. Interestingly enough, the 66 has managed to get to the lead of this group. We're going to go ahead and check some of these lap cars, how they're doing lap time wise. This group is entirely off pace. Even in a draft, they're off pace. YellaWood, let's see where she is. She's in the 56 range, so she's well off minimum pace.
Oh boy.
Again, lap cars will be parked if they don't maintain enough speed. We got about 18 cars heading up this lead pack right now, so... Yeah, 31's going to be the first one on the chopping block here, and that's probably going to come after this lap. The signal's going to come. The reason we wait so long is because we want to give them enough laps to where they can pick their speed back up if they have it. But if you can't pick that speed back up, signals come down from the press box. 31 is done for the day. They're going to have to bring that car down pit road. For Petra Ilatovsky, a very unfortunate way to end the race. Very early on, too. Lap 13.
2 pulling away.
Yeah, top 2 kind of got away a little bit here. Faye Zanda, along with Brenda Davis. Funny thing is, neither of these 2 drivers started this season in those cars. .31 making her way down pit road. This pack's still not up to pace, but everybody else right now looks like they are keeping within an acceptable range. Again, the gap usually is about 4 seconds from lead car pace to where the slow car minimum speed should be. They ran about, their best laps are around the 48, the high 48s, so their the minimum speed time is about 52 seconds. That's actually more like 3 seconds, but it's easier to calculate, so. Davis led a lap, and now Zanda's gotten back out in front again. Estimating.
Zanda's either doing.
Excuse me? Go ahead.
Yeah. Zanda's either doing a good job holding off the lead, or everybody's just playing it safe for now.
Interestingly, you see there, the middle lane's kind of starting to form a little bit. That's Michaela Kirkland. There's Charlie McCarron is back there. You see he had a Yoko forming in line as well. Yeah, it's still early on, so right now you don't want to be risking too much here. Davis to the inside. Again. She's looking for the race lead. Estimating that these cars will probably have about 2 laps left before they
Nice block there by Zanda.
Yeah, and she's going to use that to go for the lead again.
She's got a really fast race car to start this.
Yeah, absolutely, but I don't know if she's going to keep that because they're starting to form up on the bottom lane. The 35's got to push from the 62 and the 65.
Yeah, she might have moved up to the high side too early on the backstretch.
And yeah, this group is going to be, the signal is going to come down, I believe. Yep, it's in. .93, 40, 12. Yeah. So that's it for all 5 of those cars. Meanwhile, here comes Vinny Schultz in the 62 car.
Another driver below the cut line.
Yeah. She wants to lead a lap here. Here comes all 5 of those cars down pit road, out of the way of the leaders.
High side isn't giving it up, though.
Again, these cars, these 2, I actually can't tell who led the lap. I think it might have been the 35. These 2, 51 seconds on their lap times. They're not going slow enough to be parked. So that could be an issue if they catch if the leaders catch up to them.
Yeah, lap traffic can also play a factor at Talladega. That's something I forgot to mention.
Yeah. The good thing here is that because of the way that the minimum speed rules work, the lap traffic is not going to be at a horrifically awful speed that constantly breaks everybody up.
It'll slow them down a bit.
It'll slow them down, but it won't keep them... It won't, like, break the pack up too much.
Yeah.
Vinny Schultz leading that bottom lane. Krista Andresen leading the high side. Andresen has been able to fight off the 62 for a good bit here. And I think 35 is going to drop down to the bottom lane now and drop in line.
Maybe Schultz just doesn't have the car that can lead the bottom line right now.
Maybe not right now. Maybe she also got a little bit of damage from running into somebody and she's just kind of not able to pull a line right now.
Yeah, she might be at an aerodynamic disadvantage.
Hey, look, she's got at least enough to keep within the pack here, so I think that'll help her. It could also be that the 35 is just fast. Like, you see the 35, her teammate, the 7 car, is also really fast.
Toyotas look fast today.
Yep. And yeah, 3 of the 5 cars that came into this race below the cut line are up here in the top, in this lead pack. And that's already going to be great for points. Cars that are playoff cars that aren't in the lead pack, it's the 66, the 96, the 51, and the 2 that are kind of staying alive right now, and the playoff cars out of the race at the moment. Morales, Jones, and Davenport dropped out because of the wreck. Sundale and Overman dropped out because they were unable to hold minimum speed after the wreck. Here comes Mayumi Moriyama in the 64 car. She ran pretty well at Daytona earlier in the season. She finished 7th in that race. And then you're seeing that the middle lane is kind of starting to form up a little bit again here. Yeah,
They're trying it.
The outside lane has kind of died out.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
I mean, it'll probably get formed up a little bit again by virtue of some cars just dropping in. Dropping down low to try and force some cars up high, but... See, like Kathy Ableton-Perez is doing here. Here comes Isabella Smith with Lexi Rockwood, a couple Monster Energy teammates. Ableton-Perez going for second on Moriyama.
Oh, failed on Moriyama.
Yeah, Moriyama's gotten shuffled. Here comes the 25, looking for the race to lead now.
Big run on the bottom.
Yeah, and she's going to get it easily. The 35 just had her whole line go. Bit of an interesting group up here. Now that second lane, it's still there, but it's not like tremendously formed at the moment. You see this second group back here, they're just kind of trying to keep their own pace right now, but because this group is smaller, they're just not going to be able to hold on to this lead pack. And the 2 and the 45 also off pace, just trying to hang on here in that in just drafting each other right now.
They're just trying to finish the race.
Pretty much, yeah. They might get lapped, but hey, you know, as long as you stay in the race, it'll be fine.
Oh.
McCarron to the inside on Ableton Perez. Kathy Ableton Perez did get that lap left, so that is a pretty important bonus point to get. You see Deborah Williams making her way up through here. There's LaTanya Gray here as well. And McCarron very well could end up not even leading a lap.
Close.
Yeah, Williams got it. And Deborah Williams, who was the regular season champion, looking pretty solid here in Talladega, managing to stay in the lead pack. And getting a lap lead point too here. Now, one thing that's going to be interesting when we get to pit stops, how's that going to break the pack up? Because that's kind of the thing with pit stops, is that when you get a bunch of cars coming down pit road, it splits everybody apart into different cycles. They all come down at different intervals, pretty much. It's very much a thing of, it's hard to get formed back up in a draft with everybody if everybody comes down pit road.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch. Who goes with who, what strategies they're going to use, and which strategy ends up winning the race.
Yeah. Davis to the inside, she'll take the lead back. And this is Davis's the first time Davis has been in the field since New Hampshire, which was the race that she got suspended at. Now, she attempted the race last week in Oregon, but she failed to qualify. This is the first time she's actually managed to make it into the race since her suspension and subsequent release from Ozark Motorsports. Now out front, Isabella Smith has taken the lead in the 42 car. Smith siblings tend to do pretty solid at a plate track, so
And here comes Xanda again.
Xanda in the 7 car again. Had it at the line. Here comes Hieta Yoko in the 0 car. She's run pretty well all season, really. just had a bit of poor luck in the first round of the playoffs. She's ended up she's ended up outside of the playoff picture and outside of the championship race now. Vinny Schultz is up here. She's in third place right now. Well, third car on the bottom lane, but that's basically third place at the moment, with the 15 up on the top side. And I would expect pit stops within about 5 to 7 laps. Maybe a little later for some cars that stayed out. For some cars that came down pit road under the yellow flag. Schultz tries to take second away from Yoko. Oh, the 25 is blowing up at the back of the pack.
Oh, no.
And Ableton Perez. Some pretty terrible, terrible luck. That is not what she needs.
That is not at all what she needed. Right on the cut line, you've got to take advantage because most of the drivers above the cut line are out of the race. And her engine just blows. Just unfortunate luck.
Two in the 45 car. These two are slow, but they're not off. They're not slow enough to be parked. So this is where these are probably the two lap cars we're gonna see the most of today. And even then, we might not see them that much. And the two just jumped down in front of the 88 car. That may really seriously break these back six off.
Yeah. Yeah, tough luck for those six.
Never mind, Davis is able to get to the outside.
No one goes with her, though.
Yeah, I'm not very sure why you wouldn't go with. They've pretty well single-filed out towards the front. These cars haven't really lost too much. Actually, the 88's going to catch back up. These cars may be okay.
That 88 is really fast if she can quickly catch up like that.
I think these cars all are going to get back in here. Yeah, I think they're going to get back in. I think they kind of got broken off a little bit, but I think they'll be able to get back up to it.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
The two didn't actually lose the draft that quickly, so I think they may be okay. They've kind of split apart a decent bit. They've kind of very much single-filed out, but at the if they get too wide-ish, they may be able to. Well, I say that, but we're getting ready for pit stops.
We might have pit stops.
There's cars coming down pit road. 35,
Whoa.
14, 55. And now that's really going to start splitting up the pack a little bit here. Because the 35 just came in from the high lane.
Yeah, it looked like she was staying out, but
Yeah, she
went
like
way across
absolutely
the track.
dived in. Looks like right side tires for everybody on pit road.
Yeah, I don't think tires mean much here at Talladega, do they?
Not really, no.
It's
More
about
cars coming to
fuel
pit road.
saving.
7, 15. A good chunk of this pack. 65, 0, 64, 42, 54 are all in. I think somebody ran into somebody coming down pit road.
Not ideal.
Might have been a tiny bit of contact, but it's probably not too big of a deal. There's 35, 14, and 55. These three all did exit pretty well close together, so they can get drafted back up to each other. That'll pretty seriously be what they want. This group is all hooked together as well.
Looks like I might be coming in. Yep.
Aya's in with Hageman and Rockwood.
Oh, Schultz is going to get slowed up by the 45.
Yeah, 45 still exiting from pit road. This is really going to hurt the 88, though, more so, because the 88 just got out to a huge lead by herself.
Yeah, she's got no help. And if she pits here, she's going to have no help coming out of pit road. Possibly. Oh, what
I
is
believe
she
the
doing?
88's coming down pit road. Whoa,
Yikes.
that's a bit odd. 84, 10 are in.
I think Schultz stayed out. Yep.
Schultz did in fact stay out, so the 62 will get a lap lead here. That is a bonus point she needs.
Trying to use the long run strategy. But she's going to be all by herself, possibly.
There's this group's kind of forming up a little bit. They're too wide right now. 81 still getting up to speed. 62 will be in this time.
Oh, that's... Yeah, she's got nobody to help her.
Nobody coming with her. Well, it looks like... Okay, never mind. These cars have caught up the 11. So Aya's been brought into this group here. Yeah, the 35 kind of split the pack up quite a bit. Whoa, the 88. The 88 actually broke them up quite a bit.
Yeah, trying to get back up to speed slowed some of them up.
Yep. And this group is a little bit more hooked together. This group of about 7 cars here. See if we can figure out where the 62's exiting. There's where the 62 is.
There she is. Oh, just barely in front of the leaders.
I think
So she
it's
might
gonna
be
work.
okay.
It's gonna work out fine, I think,
Yeah.
for Vinny. She's got her teammate there, who's just taking the lead from her now. She did kind of back a lot of these cars up here, but this group looks like it's pretty well folded with itself as well. They're about 5 seconds back. If they can't, and that group's about the same size as this lead group now, so It looks like everybody's choice here was right sides. And 2 cans. And we'll see how this group does, but they need to get single file, at least relatively single file compared to this front group if they're going to have a chance at catching up. And this is not single file. Oh, there is at least another pit stop coming up here, so
And there could always be another caution.
yes, there could. Now it does look like this lead group of about 8 cars is kind of where it sits right now. That second group's kind of sitting back there fighting itself at the moment. But Faye Zanda has the lead right now. 8 cars sticking to this lead group. Right now it is the 7, the 35, the 88, the 55, the 62, the 11, the 84, and the 14. I haven't talked much about Catcher Needlestein, but the 84 is very slow.
It's like an issue for the 84.
That is most definitely an issue, and she just broke the 14 off the lead group, so that could be a big help to this second group here.
Yeah, the 14 has lost the lead pack draft now.
Yeah, she's really dropped off. She had to slow up for the 84. Looks like everybody's still keeping minimum pace right now, so...
No more cars being parked yet.
Yeah, keyword here is yet. Yeah, the 14's dropped off, and that may help these cars because they'll be able to get... Once they get close to the 14, they'll get a tow off her, and they'll end up getting her into their group, and that will be more cars in the pack, and that will give them a decent shot to kind of reel this group in.
Yeah, there's only 6 cars in the lead pack right now.
Yeah, and this lead pack keeps battling it itself and keeps stringing out a little bit. They've single filed out now. But so has this group. They actually didn't even gain any time there.
That's not a good sign.
In fairness, the front group was single filed out as well, so kind of no benefit there if you're single file and chasing another group that's also single file.
Edelstein all the way to the back of the second pack.
Yeah. In fairness, she had no pace because she was off the draft, so that kind of makes a bit of sense. It's the two McMillan cars leading the way of Anderson and Zanda. This group is fighting amongst itself right now. I think one thing that might end up being seen here is some of these cars from this group are going to end up filtering back into the lead group when we get our second cycle of pit stops.
Yeah, I assume that's what they're hoping for.
That's going to be their best bet. With the two McMillan cars leading the way right now, the 35 and the 7, these two have looked like the dominant cars today. It's kind of starting to string the field out a little bit, and there's another McMillan car leading the second pack right now in the 42.
Yeah, that team brought some really fast cars this weekend.
They did. Their other car, the 5 car, out of the race after being involved in an accident on lap number 1.
It looks like Schultz might be losing the draft here a bit.
I think she is starting to taper off of it a tiny bit here.
Almost to halfway, by the way.
Yep. Anderson still leading. Deborah Williams is second. Brenda Davis, Faye Zanda, Vinnie Schultz, Takamoto Aya, the top 6. That is the lead draft at the moment. The second draft, Mayumi Moriyama, Charlie McCarran, Freya von Lundquist, Alice Hageman, Brenda Davis, Hieta Yoko, Katrin Edelstein, Latanya Gray. Third draft right now, Isabella Smith, Rose Lockport, Ani Starchev, Lexi Rockwood, Jennifer Wilson. That's how the top 19 stand at the moment. You know, this group keeps going down double file, and that's not going to help them. Especially when the lead group goes single file like this. They only have a couple more cars in that second group, so...
Yeah, none of them in the second group are really working together.
Not right now, yeah. In fairness, nobody wants to work together here, especially because the 11's trying to take it 3.
I'm not sure why you would do that with a 6-car pack.
This could be a good shot for these cars as well if they catch the 45. That might hold up some of this lead draft. 7 cars to the inside, looking for the race lead.
I just get a huge run.
They're running up on this lap car. Oh yeah, it is going to hold everybody up.
Oh yeah, it's
Roberts,
gonna hold everybody.
Roberts blocks both lanes. Oh, they're going to split her through the middle. This group couldn't capitalize on it, though. And now the top two going side by side. That's gonna create a pretty big draft. And these cars here, again, these cars not going slow enough to be parked, so. Okay, now that second group did make noticeable gains, down to 8.88, but again, had the benefit of the 45 slowing this group up. They'll have to get through the 45 pretty soon here. And now this group just went single file. Presumably because, well, look at what they're catching.
Yeah, there's more lap traffic up here.
They're catching more lap traffic right now, which the lap traffic is also going 3 wide for no reason.
Yeah, they lost time that lap.
We're taking halfway this time. Faye Zanda leads the race. Takamoto Aya, Krista Andresen, Brenda Davis, Vinnie Schultz, and Deborah Williams, the top 6 in this lead draft. But they are catching, well, a group of 4 lap cars here. Nobody really wants to make a super aggressive move yet, but they are still making moves with each other right now. The 7 and the 35 seem to be the 2 cars that are the strongest at the moment. They are starting to pull up to these 4 cars now, but that may be that's going to be much more of a challenge in itself than anything else here, I think. And now is where it's going to start to get a little bit dicey because they have to navigate through these lap cars. That's going to slow them up. This group actually managed to navigate through the 45 pretty cleanly. In fairness, they also did get single file, so... Here comes Vinny looking for the lead. And this may be the best spot for her to get the lead in the pack is in lap traffic here like this. Well, with all this being said, I think it's time for us to go down to our FanDuel fan studio where we've got Rasha and whatever's left of Liam, which is not much apparently, in the Fade to Studio for our mid-race report. Rasha, take it away.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we may have sacrificed Liam to the racing gods here. We'll see whether or not that means we still get a caution, considering he was in the studio earlier, and that seemingly always leads to a caution in the mid-race segment. But considering we're extremely short-staffed here in the AWSCO broadcast booth in studio, as a whole here, we'll go over some of the things that's happened in the beginning. That's happened here to start the first half of the YellaWood 300. Obviously had that wreck at the beginning, turn 1 of all places. Took out a few cars. Well, took out a few cars, including some important playoff cars as well. But since then we've seen pretty much green flag racing the whole way. You're watching the front pack here navigate through lap traffic right now. See the 4684, those are 2 of the lap down cars, I believe, and the 51 at the back of that as well. Right now it's been very much a McMillan show. The 7 and 35 been the 2 of the best cars in this front pack right now, as you see the 7 starting to pull away here. A few car lengths ahead of the 62, then on the inside line there are a pair of lap cars, the 96 of Lynn Oswald and the 46 of Bridget Brousseau. We've also had a few mechanical problems as well. Let's see here, we got the Cliff Notes version of all of this as well. Let's see, let's start here. It was looking like a great race. It was looking like a great opportunity for Kathy Ableton Perez, driver of the number 25 Honda Accord. Managed to lead a few laps, get that 1 bonus points, but coming towards the pit cycle, her engine went off pretty spectacularly. Fortunately, she was near the back of that lead pack, and it was near pit lane, so she was able to pull into the pits fairly quickly. No real drama there, but a header failure on the 25 team, on the 25 car, puts her in a massive deficit for the upcoming playoff round finale at Martinsville. And then during the pit cycle, actually, the number 88 car, that's Brenda Davis, who you see here right now in this lead pack, stayed out a few extra laps and also blew a tire in the middle of turns 3 and 4, I think. Didn't look too weird from our perspective. We saw the 88 dip into the apron fairly early, but it didn't look like it didn't look like anything abnormal had happened. But turns out, I think one of her right side tires blew out. Fortunately, it was one of the right side tires that they already planned on changing in the pit stop, in her scheduled pit stop. So she didn't lose any time there, as shown by the fact that she's still on the lead pack here. So another lucky break there for the 88 actually. After our pit cycle, we ended up with a few split packs. The initial pack of 16 to 17 or so cars was split into 2 packs, about 8 cars each. What you're seeing here is the remnants of that lead pack. The 84 right now is a lap down, but originally she was in this lead pack on the lead lap, but a brake problem on that car forced her down pit lane, and she now sits a lap, I think, at least one lap, I think 1 lap down, it might be 2 laps down actually. It is in fact 2 laps down. Sitting in the lead pack right now, still has the pace, but obviously having to come in and fix a brake issue on that car put her multiple laps down, which would be a factor pace-wise, I think, with the rest of this pack. Watching the second pack here, a few cars, 65 on the apron. We might have another problem here. That's LaTonya Gray, your pole sitter, came into this race 13 points down, but started this race 12 back on account of that pole bonus point. That's going to reduce the size of that second pack by 1 more, and I think took out another car as well who had to check up. I think the 54 Michaela Kirkland? Yeah, Kirkland was on that pack as well. Initially, that second pack had gained a few cars on account of, the 14 falling out of that main pack as a result of the 84's brake failure, but it looks like they're going to have a car drop out of that pack as well now with the 65. As LaTonya Gray pulls in here. That's a second engine failure for a playoff car right now. See what that means for the. We'll see what that means, but with that means for the rest of her race. But with these, with the minimum speed rules, that might mean that her race might not last for much longer. As we see the 84 here, Tammy Bird looking to the inside, trying to get one of her laps back. Should head back to being one lap down here if we get a timely caution. That'll give her a real advantage, but we'll see if she's able to hold on to that. Like, obviously, the best case scenario right now for the 84 is going to be if she can hang on to the front of this pack and stay one lap down as opposed to finding 2 laps down, and maybe pray for some sort of caution. But otherwise, this front pack right now, approximately, now is 8 cars at, I think, about 3 right now, 3 or 4 if Rousseau can hang on to it. I think the momentum swung towards them right now with these lap cars kind of being picked up. 65 is back out on track. We'll see if she meets minimum speed, but it's going to be we'll see what race control will have to say about that. 7 of Faye Zanda currently leading the way. Definitely been the best car, I think. The class of the field, I want to say, of the lead pack cars here. She's probably going to end up. She's well on her way, I think, to getting the most laps led bonus. So I don't think a playoff car is going to take that. But that 7. Yes, that 7 looking particularly quick. 88 as well. Brenda Davis in her first start back, I should say. She was here on the field in the grid for the race at Oregon, but she failed to qualify for that. So this is her first start back in her return to the AWSCO Continental Series field. Running pretty well as well. Just took the lead there, working the 84's momentum to just put herself slightly ahead of the 7 and lead a lap. Right now, this pack is really interesting though, because you see this kind of 10-ish car pack with a few stragglers there, a few cars that are a lap down. It's kind of a mixed bag of cars here as they approach the 45 of Liz Roberts. Second round of pit stops coming fairly soon, I think. Right now, 84 really aggressive here, very aggressive. Look at the block she tried to pull on the 7. That's going to cost her quite a bit of ground here. Get shuffled back out to the top line. And Faye Zanda finally gets some clear air to kind of pull away here. That's going to hurt those 3 cars at the top. 88 of Brenda Davis, only car on the lead lap there. Notably, everyone else is a lap down or more. Yeah, she's still behind. She's still behind Liz Roberts here. 65 running 56-second lap. That is not going to be good enough, I don't think. Well off the pace right now. Davis will filter back down, but behind all of the lap cars, crucially for her. As now we have 5 cars effectively. Which lap 72 now. See what happens now. We'll see what happens in the second half of the race as we approach the final third of the race. Actually, second round of green flag pit stops still coming up. Typically, I'd hand it off here to our studio co-host, but I have to yap for quite a bit here, just to kind of explain the race out to everyone here. But this pack of cars now, only 5, maybe even 4. As here we go. Speaking of green flag pit stops, 35 of Krista Anderson will start the roll off here with 45 of Liz Roberts coming in. I think she's been parked for the rest. She's been parked now, so that'll reduce the number of cars running by 1 more. I think it's about 24 now, I think. This is just continuing to kind of spread the lead pack up. 35 coming in by herself without any of her what should I say, pack mates really. Everyone else not which is notable because that includes a teammate, the number 7 car, of course. We'll see in the second lap if any other cars come in. We're getting word that they're taking left side tires and a top up of fuel on the 35. That's seems pretty logical. Every team, I think, took the right sides and 2 cans of fuel last time around. Looks like they're going to change the left sides this time. And fill up on fuel 84, back up to the front of the pack, still trying to hang on and hold one extra lap ahead of the leaders here. Definitely been very aggressive. Really been very aggressive on the has a lap car here, but now as things start to roll off here with our second round of green flag pit stops, 35 already coming in. Nobody's taking. Oh, it's a lap car. The 46 of Berceau coming in as well. And the 14 of Katrin Edelstein is coming as well. So a few more cars on the lead pack. 64 and 42 as well coming in to take their service. And with that, I'll start off the FanDuel fan pick segment by myself here. And I feel like it would be difficult to go for anyone other than the number 7 of Faye Zanda right now. Obviously, that final round of pit stops is gonna matter greatly to the 7 team. It's all gonna be about execution on pit road, minimizing the amount of time you spend stopped and or running at pit road speed, as the 7 here comes in with the 88 and 55. 3 cars from the main pack peeling off. I think 3 of the strongest cars, all 3 of these cars have led laps in the race so far, but definitely that 7 of Faye Zanda, definitely very strong, both in the pack and leading the pack. Definitely has, I think that 7 car definitely has an edge when it comes to aerodynamics over everyone right now. We'll see if any of these other teams have anything to say about that. Perhaps one of these teams staying out might try to filter out ahead. But that definitely one car to look out for is that 62 of Vinny Schultz, who stayed out late last time and managed to filter out in front of the pack. He's going to do that again with a few extra laps with a few lap cars this time. 51 and 84. And with that, that'll be it for me here in the FanDuel fan studio. And we'll throw things back over to the booth. Echo and Anthony will give their FanDuel fan picks here as we're right in the middle of a pit cycle here at Talladega for the YellaWood 300.
Yeah, Anthony, you got a fan pick here.
Yes, I do. I believe one of the McMillan Enterprise cars will end up winning this race. Both of them. I'm not sure which one to pick, but I'll say the 7. Why not? She's been fast and competitive all race. She's had really good pit strategy as well. She stayed up front. She stayed out of trouble, of course. I believe she'll end up in victory lane if her teammate can help her.
Well, everyone takes the 7. I'm going to take the other McMillan car, the 35 of Krista Andresen. She's also looked very fast today. She's had that pace. She's led quite a bit at the front. I think it'll be Andresen who does it. But I also want to say, Vinny Schultz has looked like she's been getting really good fuel mileage all race. She could very well be a challenger if this comes down to fuel mileage at the end. So Schultz just came off pit road.
Vinny's long-run strategy might be working out for her.
It very well could. This front group is kind of split apart. But I think they're all going to get back together here. I can't tell if there's one car that maybe isn't forming up with them right now, but... I don't think there is. And Vinny's definitely gotten away here. Like, she's pretty well pulled out. She's pulled out a pretty sizable gap on the rest of on these lap cars, or not on the lap cars, on the rest of the pack. The 84 is still filtered out in here.
Yeah, she's got some lap traffic in front that's kind of helping her. The 77.
62's been able to stay. The 62's been able to stay out long though, so that's kind of helped her. And these cars are gonna have to navigate through a couple more lappers. We're getting pretty late into this race, though, and Vinny Schultz has the lead right now after our second set of green flag pit stops. If we go by 36 lap intervals, that would mean that there would be another stop. For Vinny, if we go by 38 lap intervals, that would mean we don't, but just barely.
She's gonna be cutting it close.
Yeah, but I think a lot of these other cars are in an even worse spot right now. Because they've been pitting a fair bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They are starting to gain time on the 62, but keep in mind that the 62 is also still drafting off some of these lappers right now, so. We're starting to go 3 wide here. I'm not really sure if you want to start going 3 wide, especially at this stage when there's only about 7 or 8 cars in your pack. They're slowly reeling in these lap cars, and I think these lap cars are assisting the 62 just a bit here. But I don't think they're going to be assisting her enough to be able to get away from the rest of the pack. This very well could come down to fuel mileage if it gets to it. It's 4 Toyotas at the front right now. Schultz leading, and Aya in 4th for Inverness Racing. And then, or excuse me, Aya's in 3rd now. Anderson and Zanda are 2nd and 4th for Macmillan. 51 and 46 are starting to drop off of the lead group now. Those 2 are lappers, so inconsequential, really. It's looking like it may end up being just these 6 cars for the race win here.
There goes the 85. But she's a lap down.
Which car?
Oh, the 84. I meant the 84. My bad.
I was like, the 85? Yeah, she is in fact a lap down. Also, the 96 is blowing up on a pit road. That's another playoff car with engine troubles.
It's about, I would say, more than half the playoff drivers have had issues today.
Yeah, although I can't say that's unexpected.
Yeah, not at all. Oh, here comes Davis.
Yeah, the 88
Got
car.
some help. Oh, and Schultz is left on the high side, out for dry. Now that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, Schultz really got shuffled out. She's going to be sent pretty much to the back of this group. So Brenda Davis now out front. Takamoto Aya sits second. And the two McMillan teammates sit behind Aya. And Vinny Schultz heading up that group. Deborah Williams trying to get herself into the pack, but can't really get slotted in yet still. She's trying to get in with the 66 and 51 here.
Schultz trying to make a move.
Oh, the 11 just blew up in the middle of the pack. Takamoto Aya. Unfortunate end to her night. But that's not going to break everybody up too much.
Davis has got a huge lead now, though.
Yeah, I don't think you want that. .62 already diving to the inside. Again, Vinny has kind of struggled to get that pole to lead a lane today. Have they maybe fixed her issues? Well, it looks like they have. She just powered by the 88 there. And I think this is a car we were missing out on pointing out a while ago. Vinny looks strong today. But here comes Davis going back for the race lead. And now Vinny's lost her teammate in the fight too, because Aya was the other Inverness car in this lead draft. Now she's got nobody except the McMillan cars to try and team up with. Zanda and Andresen sitting at the back of this group 4th and 5th right now. Sandy Martel being a bit aggressive as a lapper here. She's a lap down. She's kind of taking the fight to a lot of these cars. Trying to make moves in the pack.
3 wide.
Yeah, Xanda just took it 3 wide. She's trying to make her way up towards the front. She knows it's getting close to go time. Schultz to the inside. They're going to be 2 wide at the front now. '88's got no help. And that puts Schultz back out front. Again, they have this group kind of, although that group is actually in some instances running a bit faster than this lead draft. So I'm not sure that that group that's the group that's in front of them, I'm not even sure if they'll catch them. Schultz gets shuffled again. Davis back to the lead. The McMillan teammates working together here. Brandon Davis out front. And the McMillan teammates have stopped working together. That 88 car's got to be one to look out for as well, I think, here. She's looked pretty strong.
Yeah, she's been about like the 3rd fastest car today.
I will say don't count out the 55 either. Man, maybe don't even count out the 62, even if we get, even if this comes down to raw pace to win it. 62, I don't think is out of it.
You can't count out anybody in this league group, to be honest.
Yep.
They've all been fast all day.
That's just kind of how it ends up going with this kind of racing. 77's, or the 7's gotten shuffled though. She can't get in. She's trying to drop in with the lap cars right now. 55 and 62 working together to try to make a move. Going for second on Andersen.
Looks like Davis has got enough room to hold on to her lead.
Yeah, for right now anyways. Here's this group. This is 6th through 11th right now. There's a few playoff cars in this mix. Edelstein and Von Lundquist are back here. Again, another thing here for Vinnie Schultz, she needs points. And this is going to be good points, regardless of what happens here.
Unless her engine blows up.
Well, yeah, but...
Anyway, she's trying to grab the lead here.
She's looking. Doesn't have the run though.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Didn't have any help either. Davis is just kind of doing her best to hold on right now. And again, I would also be a bit worried about fuel mileage right now. How much gas do a lot of these cars even have, really? Vinny again making the look. This time she'll have a much better opportunity, I think. And yes, she will. And she'll go for it. She'll get to the inside in the corner.
Yeah, she's got a lot more help on the inside line now. Everybody moved down.
55 and 35 moved down. The 7's gotten back up here. I thought maybe she might have gotten hurt by being shuffled to the back like that, but she's still up here.
I think they are going to catch this pack.
I think they are, yeah. That pack
Here comes
slowed
the
up a
35.
lot for whatever reason that last lap. Oh, you know why? It's because of the 2.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're coming in. I don't want you messing things up, so. Their last lap was also in the 52s, so. That was with
Good
that
enough
is
excuse.
within the range. With 10 to go, any lap cars that might disrupt the finish can be just sent down pit road, even if they are meeting minimum speed. They can't be parked, but I can just send them down pit road. Schultz out front, though. And man, if it isn't a familiar sight to see Vinny Schultz leading at Talladega.
She's got a big gap now.
She does, but I don't know if I don't think you want that kind of gap.
Davis doesn't have any help. Never mind.
She went for it anyways. And nobody really had help, though. Schultz was so far out that even if Davis didn't have help, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it was going to be hard to block that. And now Davis has some help from
Williams.
Emma Williams. Who
Williams might go
make it
3. No,
wide.
she didn't.
Thinks better of it.
She really did think about it, though.
Yeah. I like to mention that Edelstein. Oh, and I was about to say Von Lundquist was also right behind Edelstein, who were leading the second pack. But they're in a good position to gain a ton of points.
Yep. Well, Lundqvist only came in 3 points up, so that will be good for her. They are starting to catch this group as well. Cars are jumping up the track. Somebody's coming to pit road, I think.
Oh,
Oh, it's the 55.
oh. She can't make it.
I guess not.
Davis has got a huge lead on the rest of the pack. Well, not a huge lead. I didn't notice the 35.
And again, we can end up kicking the lap down cars out if we need to, but whether this will happen, I'm not really sure, and I'm not even sure if they will move these lap cars in this pack out of the way. because they're already kind of absorbed in right now. Meanwhile, we've reached our Windows 11 to go. Brenda Davis, as there's Williams merging out. Brenda Davis leads. Krista Anderson, Reina Munoz, and Vinny Schultz. Those are the 4 cars on the lead lap in the lead draft right now. Whether they can make it on fuel is a big question right now.
10 laps to go.
And it's going to get real dicey now. With 10 to go. If you can go 36 laps, Vinny Schultz can just make it.
Oh,
I think somebody's
pitting him?
pitting. It's Anderson. It's the 35.
35.
35 is in.
Can't make it. Oh, Schultz had a chance.
She's got the look. I think some of these cars may end up just trying to... I think this 62 especially, she may try to get there. But she's going to have to do a lot of fuel saving. And I do wonder if that's a big reason why she wasn't... why she was off pace early is because maybe she was just trying to fuel save.
Yeah, that might have been it.
She's going to get the lead here following this 84. So now only 3 cars in the lead draft are on the lead lap right now. And that could become 2 or even 1. Or even 0. Lap cars pitting.
Looks like
54 and 15 just came down.
Yeah, some of these laps cars can't make it.
I don't think anybody can make it. 14 just came in.
Yeah, things are getting real interesting here.
Unless maybe the 62 can make it. That's the only car I could see making it.
62 has the best shot of making it.
Here comes Davis, though, to the inside. Look to the inside, but not going to make the move. And yeah, Vinny's staying behind the lap car right now.
Yeah, that's kind of fuel saving for her, I believe, right?
Yes. That is 100% working to fuel save here, I think, for the 62 here.
Davis
88
is
looks
being
to the
very
inside
aggressive.
again. I think Davis knows she can't make it, so she's trying to get all she can. They've just caught another lap car who's fairly off the pace.
That's gonna slow up Vinny.
That might be what she wants, though. So now coming to four laps to go next time by. Brenda Davis out front. Faye Zanda is second. Vinny Schultz has dropped back to third. Can they make it on fuel? The 78 has just moved underneath the 88, excuse me, to go for the race lead. Here comes the 7 of Faye Zanda. There is just one driver in this top 3 that has attempted every race this season, and it's Vinny Schultz in the 62. Faye Zanda's in just her second career start. Brenda Davis is in her first start in that 88 car. And her first start since New Hampshire. 3 to go. Still side by side right now, but Zanda looks like she's going to have the lead right now. Can Davis merge into the bottom lane? It looks like she'll be able to merge in with Zanda. Remains to be seen whether the 62 can merge in. They're going to catch the 35 here. Coming to 2 to go.
'88 is looking.
The 35's filtered in here now.
Vinny is really trying to make something happen back there. She keeps moving up to the high side. See if that gets going, but it really isn't.
Yeah, nothing's really happening there. It might be these 3. They might be able to go all the way. Here comes Davis to the inside of Zanda for the race lead. In the middle of this pack, Davis back to the front. They're all going to try.
Davis.
They're all going to try to make it.
Here we go.
White flag. Davis trying to get underneath the lap traffic. Faye Zanda and Vinny Schultz in tow right now.
Might be the last chance for both of them here.
Here comes Zanda, looks to the inside. Doesn't have a lot of momentum though. If the move's going to come, it's going to be out of 4 through the tri-oval.
Gonna need more help from Vinny. And she's just
Can't
not
do
getting
it, and Vinny wants the spot anyways. It's gonna be Brenda Davis who's gonna take the checkered flag in her first race back. Davis wins at Talladega.
Wow.
Oh, only 5 cars ended up on the lead lap, but I think that's more because of the pit cycle shenanigans going on here at the end. Still waiting on that last car to cross the line. It's the 81 of Alice Hageman. She actually just came down pit road for a splash of fuel to get across the line. There she is.
She's still gonna end up with the top 5.
5. Lexi Rockwood's gonna finish 6th.
5.
Sandy Martel, after being off pace all day, is still gonna finish 7th. For playoff
That might
cars,
help her a bit.
Deborah Williams with a top 10, finishes 10th. Ani Starchev will end up 11th despite wrecking under yellow. Overall, that was a very fun race, I think. Had a lot of strategy. But it also had it was a very interesting finish. I couldn't really tell who was going to do it until it came down to around turn 4.
Yeah, I didn't know if if the 88 or the 7 were going to make it to the end, but they ended up doing that.
Honestly, I wasn't sure if the 62 was going to be able to make it, but all those top 3 got there. For Vinnie Schultz, this is a great run. Got really good point run that she needed to finish second after coming in 14 points behind the cut line. This is a run she needed. Sandy Martel behind the cut line. 7th place. Ani Starchev. She ended up 11th with a good run behind the cut line. She came in 19 back, so that will make that gap interesting. We're going to go to Martinsville next week. What do you expect from Martinsville, and what do you think we may see for how that cut line battle ends up progressing?
I think Martinsville might be just as crazy as Talladega, except, of course, Martinsville is way shorter than Talladega, but it has as much insanity, as much big wrecks, and a ton of damage as Talladega on some nights. So I expect it to be a classic short track slugfest for these drivers on the cut line as they try to fight for every point they need to get to the next round.
Yeah, and with that being said, we're going to take you down to our FanDuel Fan Studio. We will have analysis and our points update following this race. From Rasha down there in the FanDuel Fan Studio. Rasha, take it away down there.
And welcome back to the FanDuel Fan Studio. We just watched the YellaWood 300 here at Talladega Super Speedway. Brenda Davis taking the win in her first race back in the Continental Series field, driving the number 88 for RGB Racing. 3 cars made it in the lead pack, anyways, on the lead lap. 88 of Brenda Davis, 62 of Vinnie Schultz, and 7 of Faye Zanda. Race came down to those 3 at the very end. While McCarron and Hageman laid back and saved fuel there to secure themselves lead lap finishes in the top 5. Hageman coming in on the last lap and taking a splash of fuel just to make it across the line on the lead lap there. Fuel strategy definitely the main strategy. The big point of note, I think, in that last part of the race. Kind of jumbled up the field a little bit, giving some top 10 finishes some good cars to some cars that were kind of falling backwards a little bit. 51 of Sandy Martel, I think the most notable of those drivers, was a lap down for about half of the race. I feel like she was already a lap down in the lead pack, a lap down following the leaders when we were in the mid race show here in the studio. Managed to hang on and finish 7th there. Just 20 cars finishing the race here after a flurry of late stage mechanical failures, two engine failures after the midway point. Lynn Oswell and Takamoto Aya both having problems there with their power units. That took the car count down by 2 then. Then Rachel Ramos got disqualified, and that just left 20 cars to finish the race here. Looking at it right now, looking at the point standings, what we expect the point standings here, projecting considering both of the drivers that were up leading the way coming into this race were both taken out early on, I would assume that would, yeah. We mentioned in the pre-race show when Liam was still here with us that this race had the potential to completely shake up the points field, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. We're going to see a massive shift as the cars that managed to survive, notably Schultz. I think Schultz was the only one in the entire top 5. Yeah, up until Martel, who was last heading into this race, 20 points behind the cut line. That's exactly the kind of result that 51 team needed. Then you have Deborah Williams, who came in 3rd. She's going to be well ahead in the points, I think, after this race. After that, you have Starchiev, Von Lundquist, and Edelstein all in the top 15. And I think, is that all of the drivers? And Rachel Ramos was the last car to get DQ'd. She'll be 21st, so she's still going to be right there with the, she should, on account of surviving most of the race, the two should be in a pretty decent point position as well. We'll compare the points field right now, the points now as compared to the points entering this race. You see here, Deborah Williams extends her lead above the cut line from 15 to 29 points. Katrin Edelstein moves up as well from 12 to 17 to 21 up. Oberman only loses a little bit of ground from 22 to 17 points up. Lundquist moving from 3 to plus 13. A lot of positions, notably from 10th on the cut line to 4th there. Cassidy Jones still looking okay at the very least, 11 points above. But then you get to the kind of soup of things here. Lynn Oswell and Rachel Ramos survived most of. Vinny Schultz, with that 2nd place finish, moves up from 14 below to 11. A large, that would be a 25-point swing in her favor. Clearly the biggest winner of this race, I would think, points-wise. Lynn Oswell and Rachel Ramos, were able to survive most of the race, and even though they had problems late in the race, they're still going to end up 10 and 7 points above the cut line, respectively. Laura Sundale and Robin Morales are the last cars above the cut line. Only 2 and 1 point up, though, as Sandy Martel, with that 7th place finish, propels herself up to just 1 point below the cut line. First car out of the playoffs right now as things stand. Kathy Ableton Perez rather amusingly goes from 3 points back to 3 points back in a race where basically nothing happened to her in that race. Annie Starchiev with her finish moves from 19 back to 4 back. Davenport moves down from 7 to 5 back. And really the big loser here, Latanya Gray, Latanya Gray in terms of positions, but that bonus point for that pole position came in fairly clutch as she's actually gained ground on the cut line, moving from 13 back to 11 back, and that's exactly. And really heading into Martinsville with that many drivers, I'd say from Oswell down to Gray onwards being only separated by 21 points. That is going to be an unholy mess, I think, come Martinsville. Martinsville's always a late season race at Martinsville is always one that's fairly intense and emotional at the best of time, but with the playoffs this tight, I think this is going to be I think that race is going to be a marvel. With the kind of stakes that are on the line right now. Really nobody is safe right now. Really nobody is particularly safe. Even Williams, and Edelstein are 20 above the cut line, but if they have issues early on in the race and fall back, then that might cause problems for them as well. And compare this to the cut line before compare this to the cut line in the first round heading into the last race of that round, where we had a driver, we had Oberman winning a race that locked her into the next round. Von Lundquist was about 40-something points up and was basically in. As opposed to now, pretty much nobody's in yet right now. And that's, I think, And that's, I think, going to be the main talking point heading out of this race, and definitely going to be, I think, a talking point for the Cup teams as well, with the way the championships also similarly structured in the Cup Series. Schultz, Ableton, Perez, and Gray. We have a correction here, coming up to the points standings actually. Yeah, a few drivers still have a few drivers. Their laps led bonus was omitted from that point standing, so that would be, let's see here, Deborah Williams pushing her to 30 up, yeah, 30 up. Schultz pushing her up to 12, tied with Cassidy Jones. Ableton Perez moves up to +2, and Latanya Gray moves up to -10. I should say -2 and -10. So that means Oswell to Gray is actually only 20 points separating those, right?
10.
Yeah. Separating all of these drivers. So that's the thing right now. Like, all of these drivers are extremely close. And Martinsville being the race that it is, I think it's going to be a complete... I think that race is going to be complete... That's going to be a complete madhouse in that race, I think. So a lot on the line here in the AWSCO Continental Series as the series moves out of Talladega and looks towards Martinsville Speedway, the Old Dominion 250 coming up next week in that. But before the series moves over to Martinsville, we still have the Cup race at Talladega coming up. The Poly Market 600 here at Talladega, 600 miles. The joint longest race on the AWSCO for either series in the AWSCO schedule. Of course, putting it tied with the fabled Dr. Pepper 600 at Charlotte for the longest race of the season. That's going to be a real test for everyone involved in the Cup Series, both drivers and teams, as they tackle 226 laps at Talladega tomorrow afternoon. For more of the same racing, I would assume, here at the Super Speedway at Alabama. I've been Rasha, and thank you for joining us here today in the FanDuel Fan Studio. And with that, we'll send things over to Echo now for the closing of the broadcast here on ESN. Thank you.
Yeah, and a really fun race here from Talladega. We saw all kinds of strategy play out. And we saw a lot of real exciting racing here tonight from Talladega. Join us tomorrow. We got the Cup race, the Poly Market 600, and then next week we're going to the Martinsville Speedway in Martinsville, Virginia. That is going to be an exciting cutoff race down in Martinsville for both series. I'm sure you will enjoy it. On behalf of Anthony, Liam, and Rasha, I'm Echo. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on this broadcast.